So we popped through the roof here. I ran all this block up from inside. The last time I did a video was way down below, way down in there. So this is all block that I ran up from the inside. We're coming through. There's the peak. That's the ridge line right there. So we started our brick out here. It's 32 by 52. Or just under, I mean, with the brick. The flashing here, I like to put my lead on like nice and keep it nice and crisp and clean. Nice sharp bends on the piece. This is a 12-12 pitch, so it's 45, and so for every brick you go up, your lead's going to step back 2 5/8, which is, you know, brick plus a joint. So you get 1, 2, you've got, you know, quite a ways to go, but once you get going, you just cut your angle on the roll of lead. You know, get rolls of lead here, 8 and 10 inch. Ended up using the 10. So you cut your angle right on the roll, and then you get 2 pieces out of that one piece that you cut the angle on. So just for example, there's a scrap piece of lead. You'll cut your angle like this, and then the next piece you cut square, and so you have the 2 pieces out of one. Without, if you do it the other way, where you're just constantly cutting off the, I think this is 5.5 or 6 inches. So you cut that off, then you constantly trimming. You get to end up with a lot of waste like that. That's just left over from a few test pieces here that we did to figure out exactly what it was going to be. But yeah, I try and keep my lead nice and clean. Brush the plank or whatever you're working on off constantly to get all these little pieces of brick chips and dust and dirt that are on them. Get that off, because every little dimple and ding you put in your lead, it'll show, number one. Number two, it makes a weak spot. It'll eventually wear through there first. When we put the lead on, I like to snip into it a little bit. This is about, this thing's not focused in here, but this is about 1.25 inches bend on the top that goes into your brickwork. I like to make these little snips in there. You can see like that, just little cuts into that top, so that when it sits on the brick like this will go like so, back 2 5/8. Keep it up about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches above the roof, because you can have your shingles and then your flashing. And then I bend these little, where I snipped it, bend that little tab down into the core. That locks it in good. But you can see, not many guys out there have lead lead job that is that nice. And it's just something I was taught, and I kind of like to keep doing it that way. Keep everything looking nice. There's our piece on the front. The other thing with this lead is, obviously, the roof isn't on yet. So on your corner piece on the bottom, I cut a snip in it. I'll have to show you differently, I guess. Maybe I can make something up and show you. But basic, because I don't have the snips up here right now. I'll do that at some point. But basically on this corner, bend these up nice and easy here. Maybe I can show you. So this little tab that gets bent up, and this piece is totally separate. This piece that runs back, where it wraps around the corner and runs back, is totally separate. It doesn't have the bend and doesn't go back in to the brickwork like this, like that bend there would. So that they can wrap this. If you did it the other way, where you carried this, where you kept this bend going hit this way and the return, that's how you do it if the roof is already on and you're flashing the bottom as you go. And you basically make a little snip into the corner where it's going to be, and then fold that top flap back into the brickwork going that way. But if you do that before the roof is on, you can't undo it without cutting or bending the crap out of it, and it ends up looking like, you know, crap. So when I'll get the snips up here and show you at some point. So that's just a little tab. So this piece will come over. This gets, when they put the roof on, this will all get siliconed, glued up nice. We try and keep it everything looking as good as possible here. And maybe I'll get the other camera and set it up, and you can see some brick going up on the chimney. But that's basically it. It's going to be infilled here around the flues. I mean, obviously you want to keep like a maximum of 2-inch gap around them, but you don't want the blockwork tight against it either. It has to have room for expansion. And so that's it for now, and I'll try and get another video of that lead and maybe some brickwork. Okay.